Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Be Kids Family Time. My name is Mrs. Crystal, and this is Benjamin.
What's up?
We're glad you're here to join us tonight as we continue talking about Indescribable, and we are going to be discussing flowers. And before the boys leave, because they don't want to talk about flowers, you're going to want to stick around for this one because I'm going to be talking about a particular flower that's nickname is called a corpse flower.
Oh, that's gross.
Well,
That's real gross.
do you know what a corpse is?
Yeah, so a corpse is a dead body.
That's right. Its nickname is named after a dead body, a corpse flower. And the reason for that is because it stinks.
Ew.
Like rotting dead flesh.
That's gross.
These flowers that Mr. Joe cut for me this afternoon, they don't stink at all. They smell very good. But this particular flower in the plant world is known as a hypocrite flower. And you know why?
Why?
Well, it looks pretty on the outside, right? Looks pretty on the outside, but on the inside, it smells. It smells like rotting flesh, so therefore it's a hypocrite. Do you know what a hypocrite is?
For example, if a hypocrite could be, say, you're nice to people and you're like nice to like your teachers and stuff, but then when you hit the playground, you're like pushing people and you're like two-faced. You're like you have a mean side for when you think nobody's looking and a nice side for when you have people over you looking.
Well, that's right. A hypocrite is someone that you might call two-faced, that they appear one way on the outside or around people that have authority. They like to maybe act like sometimes, well, for one example, you might know someone like this at school that when they're around their teachers, they are nice and they're yes sir and yes ma'am, and maybe even very friendly to their peers and helpful. But then once they get outside, like you said, and they're on the playground, they turn into another person. Maybe they become a bully on the playground. Their inside is not what it appears it ought to be on the outside. And that's exactly what the corpse flower's like. It appears to be pretty, but it's actually stinky on the inside. And so it's called a hypocrite. And Jesus had something very specific to say about that. In Matthew chapter 23, verse 27, he said, "Woe to you, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs." Do you know what a tomb is?
Tomb is like your grave.
It's like a grave, that's right. It says you're like a whitewashed tomb, which looks beautiful on the outside, but on the inside, you're full of bones and dead and everything unclean. Now, this particular flower can grow up to 15 foot tall and be about 3 foot wide.
It's pretty much as wide as the yardstick.
Yes, and lives in Indonesia.
Really?
Interesting, huh? And Jesus says, don't be like a hypocrite, something that appears beautiful on the inside but be ugly on the outside or ugly on the inside. He wants us to be good and loving all the time, constant. In other words, I'm not going to talk to you nice right now because we're on camera, and then as soon as the camera turns off, come over there and sock you. You know, that would be a hypocrite. He doesn't want us to be like that. And here's another example. If I was to offer you a bottle of water, which bottle of water would you choose?
The clean one.
The clean one. If you look at these two bottles of water, this one you may not can see it very well, but it fell into the dirt, and so the outside is very dirty, but this one is still very clean, and this is the one you would want. Okay, you have it. You want?
Yes. I'm thirsty.
You've been waiting a while for that one, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, take a drink of it.
Oh,
What was wrong?
Hot. Oh, it's really hot.
It was hot. It's been sitting and it got really hot. Well, it looks pretty, but was it cool and refreshing?
Oh, no.
No, it wasn't. But what if I just kind of dust this one off a little bit? Now you take a drink of that.
That's really refreshing.
What was the difference?
It was cold and not really, really hot.
When you're thirsty,
Mm-hmm. It quenches your thirst better and it feels better.
it quenched your thirst. It was more appealing, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It was right on the spot, right?
Yeah.
So when we're constant, sometimes we might not look so pretty on the outside, but on the inside, we can be full of goodness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this week, as a challenge, I would like to challenge you boys and girls to do something good for somebody else when no one else is watching. And maybe if you've got brothers and sisters, a good example would be, maybe picking up their dirty clothes off the floor and putting them in the hamper, or taking their dishes and putting them into the dishwasher, or putting their bike away when they left it out or something, but when nobody's looking, or just offering kind words and just telling them how much you appreciate and love them and mean it. Don't do it just because I said to do it, but think about something you really appreciate in that person and share that with them this week. And don't do it just because someone's watching or you're going to get a golden star because you done it, but do it because inside Jesus lives there and that's coming out in you. So that's all that I have for this evening to share with you. Don't forget we don't want to be like the corpse flower and pretty on the outside but ugly on the inside. We want to be good from the inside out. And you guys have a blessed week. We'll see you later.